Those are apples, but they're not ready yet. Hey, we talked about some pretty interesting stuff in the last video, and hopefully you liked all the little other things I'm showing you. But here, check this out. Let's see what the graybeards have to say about these questions. What if a nuke just blew up a big old metropolitan city? What are you going to do? And how does a central bank influence the size of the government? Because believe it or not, they kind of do. All right, but before we get into that, guys, do me a favor. You know the deal. Hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that YouTube can't slow us down. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's see here. This is a good one. This is actually you living in the part of California you're in. There was a movie in the 80s called Testament about a nuclear attack on America, and it was specifically geared towards this question. A major city in your country has been nuked. What would you do after learning about the attack? What's the first thing you do?
Make sure that the people that are closest to me are okay. That's absolutely the first thing that I would do. And then as far as how I would respond from there, I don't have a radiological checklist of what I would do, but it would be basically making sure that everybody's okay and seeing if we can get some more intelligence as to how that city is going to, the fallout from that event is going to be possibly affecting us. I mean, that's where my first inclination is going to be, is just the inner circle. That's where I'm thinking first. And then I would have to assess from there, making sure that we have all the provisions that we're going to need, making sure that, communications amongst the people that are most important are going to be able to be maintained. And then, vital infrastructure and services for what we may need to, keep things moving in the right direction. But I don't really have a thought really much beyond that, because I'd have to kind of play it by ear, really.
Spags, this has the ability to go from probability to possibility in a very quick moment. What do you think of Eric's answer?
I think he's right. Assessing fallout and prevailing winds and securing your inner circle would be the first two things you'd have to do. I think in some instances it would be a lot like being on an airplane where they tell you to put your own mask on first, right? You're going to have to secure yourself first, depending on your proximity. And then you can work about securing those around you and figuring out prevailing winds and where you need to go. God, hopefully you didn't see the cloud, man. That's all I got to say. Hopefully it was far enough away where you can get upwind quickly.
Local prepper tag, you guys got anything to add to that?
Turn on your radio. It's the first thing you do. Turn on your radio. We've got so far away from that, but turn your radio on and then assess your situation. Just because Los Angeles got nuked and I live on the eastern shore of Virginia doesn't mean I have to worry about radiation for probably about a week. But turn on your radio, because believe it or not, there's actually a system that's designed to help people do those things. Now if you turn your radio on and nothing happens, well, you're pretty much screwed as it is. But yeah, circle the wagons, execute your comm plan as best you can. Everybody should know where they're supposed to go and what they're supposed to do. And I hate to say it, but it's a huge error in the prepper community, because very few people actually have a comm plan for their family. Right now, grandma had a heart attack yesterday or day before yesterday, and she's in Norfolk right now waiting to get a little stent. But the second that happened at 2:20 in the morning, the comm plan got executed, where all the older kids immediately started communicating with each other. And then, that started trickling down, as time went on, so as not to over alarm people, things like that. But yeah, have a damn comm plan. It's not hard to come up with. In the event of an emergency, this just happens to be a nuclear weapon went off someplace, then here's what we're going to do, and then have a plan of action. Execute that plan of action. And that, like you guys were saying, circle the wagons. Everybody goes where they're supposed to go. You know, and obviously time is going to be a factor as well. Make sure that you know everybody knows the plan, so that if time is a factor, that you don't have to, you know, try and get up with everybody because, you know, their ham radio got fried or their cell phone doesn't work or everything is off, that kind of thing. If, you know, if they don't have the EMP Shield, shameless
Oh,
promotion.
I was going to ask Tag if there's a way to protect against that, man.
Yeah. Shameless promotion, local prepper. Use code local prepper. But yeah, I mean, I think we're all given the same exact answer here. You know, there's so many, you know, there's so many ways to skin that cat. But yeah, definitely circle the wagons, assess your situation, and execute. You should definitely have a plan. And if you don't, you make one. I'm done.
Tag, you got any final thoughts on that? I thought they did a pretty good job. Nope. Did we lock up?
I don't know if he's. Oh, he fell asleep. Okay, go ahead, man.
What was that about? A bunch of old guys getting together?
Yeah.
Craig, you got any final comments on that question?
Yeah, I think I just get a hold of the community, whether that would be through radio or whatever, institute Order 14 and assess my situation and maybe make another run, hopefully. Other than that, get popcorn.
Okay. Next question. This one's for you, Tag.
Shit.
How what was that? Just to be okay, we went 41 minutes before anything was said that would offend anybody, and that was Spags.
Of course it was.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Don't worry about it.
How does a central bank influence the size of the government?
Oh my goodness.
How much time do you think we have?
Yeah, well, I'll try to make it simple. I mean, how does having a printing press in your basement influence your economic situation in your own home? I mean, if you could print unlimited amount of money in your basement, would you live a different life than you live today? Grumpy?
Oh, I'd be living high on the hog.
There's your answer. That's how the central bank does it, right? It's the same thing. I mean, it's, if you had control of the power of the purse, and I know a lot about this topic, if you control that, then you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. You guys, money is the land of make-believe. I talk about this all the time. It is absolutely the land of make-believe, and they're making believe. Yes, and Spags offends a lot.
Okay, so and I asked you that question because I kind of figured that would be your answer. So I guess the follow-up to the rest of the panel is how do we curtail that? How do we as individuals and as a community protect ourselves, inoculate ourselves against the problems that having that central bank causes? Local prepper, you got any thoughts?
It's not possible. Spags, what do you got to say?
Agorism, alternative economies. Mm-hmm. Alternative economies have worked in virtually every societal collapse ever. It's not foolproof, but you have a local barter system. You work to do as much for yourself as possible. You're always going to be reliant on somebody else for something, but if you can remove the number of things that you're reliant on others for prior to, you're doing pretty good. And if you get established in the local gray and black market, just saying, black markets are free markets. Sue me, you might not be able to get power from the grid, but you might be able to get some bootleg beeswax candles. You got to know who those people are ahead of time. You got to make those relationships right now. You got to start working with the thing that's going to get most preppers in trouble when they start bartering someday is they're going to be married to the dollar, and they're not going to understand that just because you spent $19.99 on Amazon for that widget, that all of a sudden now that inflation is hit or hyperinflation are hit, or we're in a full-on depression, that doesn't matter anymore. Like, people are going to be able to argue value in a much different way. And if you're not preparing to argue value aside from the dollar, you're going to fail miserably if this happens.
So Eric, your lifestyle kind of points in this direction to begin with. What do you think about it?
I think that, quite honestly, we can all do a better job of doing just what Spags had said. And I think that those alternative economies, establishing those relationships and trying to do business locally is the way that we get there. Obviously, 100% of all of our needs can't be met in that way, But for the very basic things that we need, food and making sure that we have our own stockpile of things that we can exchange and barter and help each other out, whether that be medicine or any kind of supplies that we may need. And I think it's important to just recognize that. We all recognize that there's something coming economically, don't we? We all talk about it all the time. But really, what are we doing in order to establish those relationships? I think that's a question that we all kind of need to ask ourselves and try to live up to it a little bit more. I know I can do a better job. And I think that other people could probably look at themselves and probably in a similar way. So that's my answer. I don't think that there's really a 100% thing that we can do to stop any of that. But it's a recognition that we see what's coming. And so let's do our part in establishing those relationships and making those types of connections.
Amen. I don't think you top that question off with a better answer. All right. Are you waving because you want to talk? Or are you waving at somebody in chat?
No, I'm waving because I want to add one thing to what all these guys said. The next thing
Okay, go for it, man. Go for it.
Get out of debt. Own what you own. Don't be the problem is we're such a slave to the system and we're so married to all of that. You're not going to be able to go fight it if you're going into the proposition begging for their mercy and asking for their permission. Mm-hmm. Put yourself in a position where you no longer have to ask permission.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Then add the parallel economy, then add the barter systems, then grow your own food, then go do all of those things, which all of them are critically important. But you're not going to be able to go fight the beast if you're a slave to it. I can assure you of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'd like to add something what Tag said. He's 100% right. I've been lucky enough to be debt free twice in my life, and every single time I was like that, it was this unbelievable feeling come bill day. Because I'm not a homesteader, I don't live off grid, but every single time it was time to pay the bills, I didn't pay any credit card bills. I didn't pay any mortgages. I didn't pay any car loans. And you know what? It's amazing to have a little bit of cash in your pocket. Know that you're not locked to these companies for the next 20 to 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I recommend you follow that advice and get out of debt as fast as possible. And to take it seriously too. I mean, if you went to McDonald's last week, you're failing. If you went to the movies, you're failing. And I don't say that to be a mean guy. I'm saying that you can have your cake and eat it too, but you have to do it religiously. You have to make double payments. You have to add a little bit more. Maybe you have a plan to add 10% per payment. But have a plan and then do it. Then one day you're going to wake up and you're not going to have to make that bill, and you're going to remember this conversation.
Yep.
Hey, G.
Well, and I'll top that statement off with getting out of debt is the easiest thing to do. Seriously, it's super simple. Stop spending money. Mm-hmm. Staying out of debt's the hard part, especially in the culture in which we live in. So that's, as far as as my experience, that is the hurdle that we all have to get over. Okay, next question.
Hey, G, hold on.
We just went over an hour. We still got a little bit of time. Oh, I like this one. This is a good one.
Hey, G, hold on. I think this is important. One thing. Can I do one thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I tried to put this question up because I think this is really important. It says, with personal property tax, don't you always have to ask permission? I just think it's important that we stress to everybody that getting 100% free, guys, which I've dedicated my life to doing, is I don't think possible. I don't think you can get there. But here's the thing, is that because I have no mortgage, no car payment, I have none, I can withstand $12 a gallon fuel better than most. Mm-hmm. I can withstand the property taxes better than most. So yeah, there's going to be things you're going to have to ask permission for. However, just like any general you ask, and I've quoted this many, many times, how many fronts does he want to fight the war on? The answer is one, because you don't want to divide your supply lines. You don't want to, divide that stuff. So get your life down to a manner where you've the entry into your life from the beast is limited to one or two or three things, and don't have 75 of them out there, which means you're, being attacked from every single corner.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead.
No, that's a good point. Okay, let's go on to the next question.
Well, I hope that cleared a few things up, gave you a little bit of, make your old noodle just spin around a little bit there. And, we got a couple more of these to go. So make sure you guys do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button, and
don't forget to leave a few comments. We actually do read them. All right. Till the next time, stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you, which will be in the next video. Bye-bye.